Hi, and welcome to this webinar on the new Federal Act on Data Protection, known as NFADP. This webinar will be recorded and published on YouTube and on our website. A very important piece of information. This webinar does not constitute binding legal advice. EventFrog recommends all organizers, whether they are companies, associations, or private individuals, to deal directly with the new code and direct their questions to a legal advisor. My name is Christian Breaker. I have been working within business development at EventFrog since March 2022. I also support EventFrog in all matters relating to data protection. A few words to EventFrog. EventFrog is the only free online ticketing service in Switzerland. Since 2016, we have been revolutionizing the event industry. Every month, more than 800,000 visitors come to our platform, on which over 2,000 events are published within the same time frame. In this webinar, we will highlight the new data protection law for Switzerland. I will also show you how the EventFrog Cockpit can help you comply with the rules. We have collected a variety of questions and answered those either in this webinar or you can read up on them later on our website. But first, what is this all about? As of the 1st of September 2023, the new Federal Act on Data Protection will come into force. The NFADP brings necessary improvements to cater for the use of the internet and smartphones. The aim is to make data processing more transparent. In addition, the new law is intended to bring it in line with the General Data Protection Regulation under EU law. This is intended to enable a free flow of data with the European Union. So for all organizers who are thus already complying with GDPR, not that much will actually change. There is a specific changes that the Confederation highlights on their own website. Now, but what changes in principle within Switzerland? The new law is limited to the protection of personal data. Legal persons are no longer included. Information such as biometric data and profiling data are now classified as particularly worthy of protection, also known as sensitive data. This category includes, but is not limited to, views on religion, belief, politics, race, welfare measures, administrative or criminal prosecution and sanctions. The terms privacy by design and privacy by default are now incorporated into law. At EventFrog, we rely on privacy by design and privacy by default from the very beginning to ensure that privacy of our users is protected. Privacy by design means that we apply privacy-friendly design and architecture principles when developing our systems and architecture. In doing so, we minimize privacy risks from the outset and ensure that the privacy of our users is protected. In addition, the use of privacy by default ensures that our systems and applications have privacy-friendly settings and features by default. This protects the privacy of our users from the very beginning. They have full control over whether they want to disclose additional data. By implementing privacy by design and privacy by default, we ensure that data protection is a high priority at EventFrog, and our users have a secure and trustworthy environment for their events and ticket purchases. We also want to note here that EventFrog does not resell data at any time. No unnecessary data is tracked, and this gives event organizers an optimal platform to offer their services. Furthermore, under the new law, data security breaches must, under certain circumstances, be reported to the Federal Data Protection and Information Commissioner. That's the FDPIC. A data protection impact assessment must be prepared in writing by every company once and for all of the processing data constitutes a high risk to the rights and freedoms of data subjects, and if there are no exceptions. Violations of the data protection law may result in sanctions and fines up to 250,000 Swiss francs. The FDPIC may open investigations, proceedings, and issue injunctions. Civil law actions are possible. The implementation of sanctions is regulated by cantonal law enforcement authorities. Now, what must organizers actually do? As the event organizer, you are responsible for the data of your ticket purchases. EventFrog makes this available securely in the cockpit. In the orders and cancellation sections, you have the access to the name, order number, email address, etc. These can be downloaded as a CSV file. There are new detailed rules on how to handle this data. All of these rules apply in principle to all companies in Switzerland. However, the law provides for certain exceptions in terms of size. We'll show you the most important steps in this slide here. First of all, an inventory of the processing of personal data needs to be established. As an organizer, it is recommended to make this inventory early. The new statutory directory of processing activities can be used to help. Secondly, maintain a list of processing activities. This list applies in principle to all companies. If you are a company with fewer than 250 employees, certain exceptions apply. That's in Article 12, Paragraph 2 at the Rev DSG or NFADP. A risk assessment needs to be performed. It becomes very important when you process highly sensitive customer data as outlined before. So, classify all your data accordingly, especially if you have multiple parties involved in the process, such as, for example, EventFrog. It is important to raise awareness, make your employees or colleagues or participants in your club aware of the subject of data protection. It is important to establish an understanding and awareness of this. Processing personal data starts with the recording of the first and last names of visitors in your office or at an event. Ensure security. Ensure that your IT infrastructure is optimized appropriately. The risk assessment in point 3 helps to do this. Cyber attacks, data theft, etc., unfortunately, is now an everyday occurrence. With a proactive implementation of protection mechanisms, such scenarios can be prevented or indeed minimized. Define the processes and verifying processes. Who works with which data and when? Who has access to the EventFrog cockpit? Ask yourself these questions and record the process if necessary. And last but not least, check your contracts. Check your contracts with partners for data protection. Comply with the rules of the new legislation. What data will be exchanged, etc. Check our data protection documentation on our website. Now I'm going to make these things a little bit more tangible. I'm going to present you an example of how you can manage data the right way and securely. EventFrog does not resell data as outlined before. Now, all data collected by EventFrog on behalf of you as an organizer is protected by our statute that it's not being used for marketing purposes. There is a way, though, that under the new law, you are able to still send marketing material to your clients. When you have an event, you have the possibility to add additional information and ask clients for additional information on that event checkout process. For that, you go into the event, you go to personalization and additional fields. In here, you can add questions that are highlighted in the checkout process. For example, I want my clients to subscribe to my newsletter when I have new events going on. For that, I add this language here as add a field. We can edit this as a yes or no question. And the title is the language that will be shown in the checkout process. I leave it up to the client which email address they want for the marketing details. So I add an email field where I say which email the client wants to use. In practice, this will then look as follows. I go and buy a ticket, go to the checkout, I accept the general terms and conditions of the reseller. I'm asked exactly this question. Yes, I want to subscribe to the newsletter with the address of my purchasing account. This data is then available to all organizers in the CSV file, and you may continue to use customer data for marketing purposes. Now, it is important to understand that a client can change the status at every single time he purchases a ticket. So a client that may have purchased multiple tickets across different events may change his mind about this marketing log. So you will have to take that into account when sending new event information. If you have a client that wants to be forgotten, and that's a right under the new law, they can do this by contacting support@eventfrog.ch, and we will make sure that all data on EventFrog side is completely deleted according to the law. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please contact us under support@eventfrog.ch, and we will stand at your disposal.